To the battlefronts of Europe, where for over 5 years history's greatest war has been raging, 1945 has brought harder and more terrible fighting than any that has gone before. Germany's Wehrmacht, though facing certain defeat, has resisted with desperate fanaticism, has forced American and Allied soldiers to pay the highest possible price in blood and destruction and death for every counterattack held off, for every foot of ground gained. Each step on the Allied road to victory has brought heavier losses, and thousands of American fighting men captured by the Germans have been condemned for the duration to the empty monotony, the physical and mental hardships of the prison camp, beyond the reach of any friendly contact save one, the Red Cross. The bitter and costly battles of 1945 have placed obligations upon the American Red Cross greater than it has ever had to meet before. And so long as fighting continues anywhere, and even longer, so long as American soldiers are overseas, these obligations will continue to grow. In increasing numbers, Red Cross volunteers and Red Cross resources are needed to ease the hardships of those who are paying the price of victory, to help the doctors, nurses, and enlisted personnel of the Army and Navy medical forces, to provide for the wounded and dying in the countless little services which make pain more endurable. Whatever the increasing demands upon its resources, the Red Cross must remain at the side of U.S. fighting men. For it is the mission of your Red Cross at all times to take the place of families and friends who cannot be there to help those they love. Wherever your armies move along an ever-shifting front, with them goes your Red Cross to bring to the soldiers some measure of cheer and relaxation. The harder the fighting, the more important it is that Red Cross workers be within reach of the front lines, ready at all times with the small comforts which seem so big to mud-caked soldiers who have been fighting without rest for days on end. Not only in Europe, but in the Pacific as well, 1945 is bringing battles of growing intensity as our naval, air, and amphibious forces approach the enemy's homeland. Victory over Japan is still far distant, and every mile of our advance toward Tokyo means more casualties, more hospitals to be staffed, more need for the assistance the Red Cross brings to medical units of the armed forces. Men who face the future handicapped by injured muscles or by the loss of an arm or leg must be given confidence in their ability to rise above their handicaps. Men whose nerves have been unable to stand the overwhelming pressure of combat must be restored to a normal and healthy condition. To aid in such tasks, Red Cross workers bring experience and kindly understanding. From now until the end of the war, hospital ships of the Army and the Navy will sail more and more frequently, bringing back those whose fighting days are over. On each of these, Red Cross workers will help to make the long voyage more comfortable. The Red Cross workers who greet them at the dock are part of an endless chain which links them to their hometowns and the local Red Cross chapters which will stand ready to serve the veteran as long as his need shall continue. And to some 60,000 Americans in enemy prison camps, to whom homecoming is as yet only a distant hope, the Red Cross has shipped nearly 12 million parcels of food, clothing, and medical supplies in the past year. To these men, packages and mail sent through the International Red Cross are the sole link with home and family. One of the Red Cross's many contributions on the home front is its work of keeping anxious relatives in touch with war prisoners. At regular meetings, information is pooled to lessen the burdens of worry and uncertainty.
Tonight, several of our members have had letters from their boys. I'm sure you will all learn something from them. Mrs. Atwood, would you read yours first?
Dear Mom, we're in a new prison camp now. not as cold and damp as the last one. The Red Cross packages are already reaching the new camp. The food and cigarettes and stuff are surely a lifesaver to us all. I don't know
But
how...
to the families of war prisoners, no knowledge is so comforting as the fact that Red Cross supply ships are sailing as often as possible with their merciful cargoes, some of which are getting through to Americans captured by the Japanese. In 4 years, the Red Cross has collected and turned over to the armed forces more than 10 million pints of blood plasma. Today, it is also supplying whole blood, which is flown daily to the combat zone. For in critical cases in which plasma alone would not have been adequate, whole blood has saved thousands of lives. Between those on the battlefront and those on the home front, blood donations form a tangible bond. And today, each package bears the name of a donor so that the recipient may express his thanks directly.
Dear Mr. Manelli, I don't know you and you don't know me, but I guess I owe you... No, cross that out. But I want to say thanks for the blood you gave to the Red Cross. Maybe it didn't mean much to you at the time you gave it, but it meant a lot to me. It meant I could get well and see my home again, and my wife, and my folks. Is that enough? Think you'll understand?
As this most destructive of wars grows in violence, more urgent than ever will be the needs of the American fighting man. Your Red Cross must be kept at his side. Your Red Cross must be there to meet his needs, to give all help possible, to see him through the months ahead on the long and perilous road to victory.